Hello everyone, welcome back to the another session on abstract data types using Objective-C programming language. So actually Objective-C is very similar to C++. In that its initial design was the C language with extensions to support object-oriented programming. One of the fundamental differences between the two is that Objective C uses the syntax of Smalltalk for its method calls. We'll be going to see even about Smalltalk, but actually, when you see the differences in between Objective C, it uses the syntax of Smalltalk. So when we look at C++ Objective C, we will be having more similarities in between of three: C, C++, Objective C. We feel that all these are very similar, but I'm taking a part of the C because C is having more differences in between C and Objective C, but similarities very more in between C++ and Objective C. C and Objective C differences are very more. C++ Objective C similarities are very more. So now the one difference in between these two is Objective C syntaxes are same as of Smalltalk. So the syntax of C++ will little bit have some C features, but the syntactical structure of these two are very different. Now, look at this. When I'm saying it is object-oriented programming, Objective-C is an object-oriented programming. So it also supports the features of objectives. I mean, it's also support objective or OOPS concepts, which is Objective-C will support OOPS concepts. What OOPS concepts it will support? Abstraction, encapsulation, information hiding, all it will be supported by Objective-C. Now let's see how it will support. So the interface part of an Objective-C class is defined in a container called an interface. Now prior to this video, we discussed about C++. The interface and the syntax of class is entirely different from this code. We did not see this code in C++. That's what I told you here very clearly. So when you look about C++ Objective-C, there are differences in between syntax. C++, the way you write the code is different from the way you write the code over here. So here we write the code, similarities of C will have and similarities of Java also will have. But Objective-C is totally different, which it follows by Smalltalk. Right, now let's see. So if we wanted to create any interface in some program, then what we will do is we'll begin with the sign at the rate. We'll begin with the sign at the rate and we'll tell it is an interface. At the rate interface class name to the parent class. Generally we'll write interfaces for the class, right? So in interface class name and the parent class. So this block is given to create instance variable declarations. If you have any methods for this, then we will write some method prototypes, and it is again $end. So this is what the interface part of an objective class, and this will be defined in a container called interface. The first and last lines which begin with at signs at the rate are directives. So these are signs or what? Directives. The implementation of a class is packaged in a container naturally named implementation, which has the following syntax: at the rate implementation class name method definitions $end at the rate end. As in C++, in Objective-C classes are types. Method prototypes have the following syntax. Now this is a bit a different one which we were not seen before of the programming languages. So when you wanted to create a method prototype, now we will be going to use this plus or minus. return type, method name, colon, formal parameters. This is what the method prototype. The syntactic form of the formal parameter list is different from that of the more common languages C, C++, Java and C Sharp. If there is one parameter, its type is specified, something like this. Now I have only one parameter and the type of this parameter I specified. I have only one parameter which is X. So I have to specify the parameter type in the parentheses before the parameter name as the following method prototype. And in the syntactic structure we were seeing plus or minus, correct? So we will use minus for the methods. Okay. Here the method name is what? Method 1. Method return type is void. Parameter return type is integer. Now when I wanted to take two parameters, so method 2 int x, second is also a one method and float y. So this statement will give you a knowledge that I am creating a method 2 with one parameter, second is also one method with one parameter which is float of y. If you wanted to take one method with two parameters, then method 2 int x colon float y. Get the difference? This is method with one parameter. This is parameter with two methods. Single parameters with two methods. Two parameters with one method. Okay, right. Now we'll see about constructor, how it will take the syntax. Constructors in Objective-C are called initializers. They only provide initial values. They can be given any name. Now this is what underline point, that constructors can be of given any name. And as a result, they must be explicitly called. Constructors return a reference to the new object. So the type is always a pointer to the class name. They use for sure a return statement that returns self a reference to the current object, that we'll see in a sample code. So I told you to take some allocation, right? ALLOC, that an object is created in Objective-C programming language by calling allocation, ALLOC. So what is this? Object is created in Objective-C by calling allocation. In Java and C++ we'll use new operator, right? So in Objective-C we'll use allocation. Typically, after calling allocation, the constructor of the class is explicitly called. These two calls can be and usually are cascaded, as in the following statement that you can see here, some following statement. Now I am using this allocated. All class instances are heap dynamic and are referenced through reference variables.